Alright, so here we're going to have a review of the Simgot EW300. This is a $70 IEM by Simgot. It is a single dynamic, single planar, and single piezoelectric driver set. So yeah, let's get into this. You have some frequency graphs on the back. If you want to look at those, they're right here. And yeah, let's get into the box. This was sent to me by Simgot for review, but of course that does not change my opinions at all or affect anything I say in the video. So let's get into this. Here we have, I don't really know why this is like an X-Heart design they chose. It has a very similar shell to the EW200, the quote-unquote predecessor, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's take these out of the foam insert here, and let's take these boxes out. That has the case, cable, and tips. See if I can get my flash on so you can see a little better. Put this to the side. Alright, let's take the case out of here. And you have some paperwork here, but we don't care about that, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, let's open this up. You have the case is it's just an average case, nothing special. It's not too big, not too small, which is nice. So actually, it's a fine case. Doesn't have any Simgot branding though or anything like that. Just a regular hard shell case. We have the cable. We have some markers for the nozzles. And we have the these are like foams to insert into the nozzles if you want to change the tuning yourself, which is cool. I didn't know it, like I didn't expect it to come with this, which is really cool. Like when they said it has two tunings, so I didn't expect them to have this. But yeah, it's a nice addition. They actually did have a tuning kit. I don't know if it's still in production. I did show that in one of my previous reviews of the of the EA500LM, so if you want to see the tuning kit, it is in that video. Alright, so yeah, that's about it for the case and all that. So put that to the side. Talk about the cable after I get the tips out of here and the other nozzles. So yeah, here are the tips and here are the other nozzles. And yeah. So cable-wise, it's a pretty similar cable to like the majority of Simgot cables. I think that is the same one as the one that comes with the EW200 here. It looks the same, but it's fine for the price. I'd say it's just average for the price. As you can see here, it does get tangled a little bit, but it's not like really bad. You see how it's pretty smooth. It doesn't really have any problems. I'd say it's an average cable at the price range. Nothing special, but it's definitely not a bad cable. Definitely not something you have to replace or anything like that. It's a fine cable, no problems there for me at least. All right, now let's talk about the build quality. So the build is almost identical to. Let me wipe that down. It's identical to the EW200 here, except it has the little heart symbol instead of the Simgot logo on it. This is for the other side, has the X. And that's literally the only difference for the shell. It's a full metal shell. It's a great shell. It was a great shell for the $30 price tag that the EW200 came in, and it's a fine shell for a $70 set, honestly. The shell was really amazing for the price for the EW200, so it's fine to use it on the $70 set in my opinion. Anyway, but I do think that they should have gone for a little bit of a more distinct design, because these are very different sets, which we'll talk about when we get to the sound portion. These brass nozzles do change the sound. They have, foam in the back. We'll talk about that in a second when we talk about the sound as well. The tips were fine, small, medium, large. They're fine tips, but I preferred spin fits. I preferred let me see if I have a set here. Yeah, I do on my one of my other sets here. The CP100 spin fits, yeah, the extra smalls. I prefer using these tips, and the sound was relatively the same. Maybe a small difference in the treble, but not really a big enough difference to really talk about. I used it pretty much the whole time with those tips. So anyway, let's get these to the side here, and let's talk about now sound. This is going to be really easy to start off with. The brass tips suck, in my opinion. They are terrible. Don't use them. Why, you ask? They pretty much make the sound very stuffy, very constricted. These don't have a necessarily wide stage, but they don't have a narrow one either. If my head's here, let's say the stage goes like this. It's not a bad stage for the price. It's not an incredible stage. I'd say it's above average for this price. This makes the stage just go away, just disappear. It's really bad. it really congests the sound, it ruins the imaging, and it really like reduces all detail that this set has. And this set has fantastic detail for the under $100 price bracket. So to remove that is just awful. I mean, like, it's one of the main good features of this. I think it's because of the piezo driver, and of course the planar is also quite detailed. These have a really good detail to them, and to remove that is just a shame. I think that these nozzles are just not worth even, like, I would never really use these ever. Like, I can't recommend this set with these nozzles. If it only came with these nozzles, this set would not have my recommendation at all. So we're just gonna put these aside. These kind of ruin the set for me. So put that away. Now let's talk about what you actually care about, the sound with the silver nozzles that I actually enjoyed listening to. Let's go bass, mids, highs here. Bass is the most underwhelming part of the set to me. It's not bad. It has good texture. It is a well done bass, but it is very poorly emphasized. It could use a little bit more impact. I feel like it could have a little bit of a stronger hit, especially for like a tri-bridge design. The bass has a very good, like, you have a dynamic driver for the bass. So I felt like, this could be better. But overall, at this price point, it is not bad detail or texture in the bass for the price, but still, it has room for improvement in the bass department. It could also be a little bit more emphasized. I feel like these are a very bass light set, just like their predecessor, the EW200 bass light, but not as bass light as the EW200. These do have more bass than this, but we'll talk about that in comparisons. But these still have a not for bass heads. Let's just say that it's not for bass heads, and it's not for people who want, I think, a perfectly flat sound either. I think this is the bass has been reduced compared to most sets, but it is still good, decent quality for the price. It is good quality at this price range. I'd say it's above average quality wise, but quantity wise is actually really low. The spin fits did increase the bass a little bit, so I did want to mention that as well. Alright, moving to the mids. The mids are where these really shine. These have an actual good body to the mids, which is rare in this like kind of price bracket. Only saw it with the EA500LM, which we'll talk about again in a second, and also the EPZ Q1 Pro. But these do have a great body to the mid-range that the EW200 did not have. At this rate, I'm already talking about comparisons. I'm just going to bring these in now. And as you can see, they're all Simgot products, because Simgot is starting to take over the market, I feel like, in almost every price category, except I don't think the EW200 is the most competitive in the price bracket anymore. I think that the Q1 Pro takes its spot as my recommendation under 50, but currently these two are my recommendations under 100. Anyway, back to what I was talking about, the mid-range. The mid-range is has a very good note weight and very good body to it. Vocals are expressive, a little bit more like pushed back in the presentation than I would hoped, but they're not overpowered necessarily by the treble, but it's still a little bit more pushed back than especially male vocals. I would like to bring a little bit more forward. Alright, so other than vocals, instruments sound fantastic. It sounds very natural. I feel like this is a very natural sound in comparison to the EA500LM. The EA500LM sounds a little bit more of a metallic timbre in comparison to the EW300. And I feel like this is more of a comparison between this and this than its predecessor, the 200, because this is $70 and this is $30. You more than doubled the price. Why does this even have the EW name? I feel like this is just not a good idea. I feel like this should, even though the shell is like the same, I feel like this should be its own thing, or like a branch off the EA500LM, because these are not the same price bracket. These are much closer in price, this being around, I think, $89, this being $70. So really, I will say this before I remove these, that this does everything better than this, in my opinion. And it has a relatively similar signature, so I guess that could be why you can say they are both the EW series, but still, I feel like just with the price difference, it wouldn't make sense. But this has the same bright tonality as these do, but these also lean towards bright. Most of Simgot's IEMs, except for the Supermix 4, have been bright, to me at least. So I'm going to take these out, because honestly, if you want to know, is this a worthy upgrade over this for the price? My answer is yes. These are a big difference, a big jump in detail, soundstage, imaging, and overall just everything in the sound, impact in the bass. Tuning is slightly improved but very similar. I will say that the bass is a little bit more on this than this. This had a very light bass response, and this was a little bit more sibilant and fatiguing than this was. This does make the treble sound more natural, more tolerable, though this can still also get a little bit fatiguing in the upper mids. It can get have a little bit of shout, but not enough to be really a major issue for me personally. This had more of that, and also it was more like fatiguing. So I will say this is a big upgrade over this to me. Anyway, I'm going to put these away because I think the main comparison, to me at least, is the EA500LM or the EW300. So mid-range wise, let's start with bass again, like real quick. Let me just say that bass on this has a bit better impact than this does. But this still has this still has the weakness in the impact, but this also weakened the impact too. These both are not really good for bass heads to me. I feel like if you want better bass, I'd say go for the EPZ-Q1 Pro. I know it's all the way back down to $30, but these two are not doing bass for me. I think Simgot needs to improve the quality of the bass, and also the quantity, not the quality. Improve the impact, but keep the detail and bump it up a bit. Come on, give me a little bit more. You know, with the Supermix 4, which I'll just keep here, though it's not a very fair comparison since it's $150. With the Supermix 4, it had a little bit too much bass, but it's closer to what I prefer. These are way too low amount for me. I feel like it needs quite a bit more of a boost in the bass. And the bass is still well done on here, but the quality on here for the price is still excellent. So when I say the bass needs improvement, I don't mean like detail-wise, texture-wise. I mean more quantity-wise and also a little bit more impact in the bass. This has a better impact than these do, I will say that. But it's not by a lot. Anyway, to the mid-range. The mid-range is excellent on this set. As I said, the vocals are a little bit pushed back, but the quality is excellent, the details are excellent, instruments sound very natural. They sound more natural to me than the EA500LM. The LM is a little bit more metallic sounding in timbre. Stage-wise also, this has a little bit wider stage than the LM, but not by a huge margin, but it is enough to make it sound more spacious. Like you're aware it's more spacious on like first listen, but even it's still not like a massive difference. Going on into the treble. Now, the treble is where things really lean better towards the EW300 for me. The treble on this, every once in a while, can get peaky to a point where it is uncomfortable for me. It's not like a detrimental part of the set where it stops the set from being usable, but it's something that does affect my enjoyability. It is like every once in a while, this is going to hurt my ear a little bit. This rarely happens. Rarely ever happens. I really enjoy the treble on these. It is as detailed as the 500LM in my book. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit less than the 500LM. Maybe it's a little bit tilting towards the LM in detail in the treble. But overall, I feel like this is a more controlled treble, and it's a more pleasant presentation of the treble. It's rarely getting sibilant at all. It's very slightly fatiguing, not really very fatiguing. This is much more fatiguing to me. The best treble out of these three, of course, is going to the Supermix 4. Its microplanars produce a very pleasant treble experience, one of the best I've heard, under $300. Very excellent treble on the Supermix 4. But this is a huge price jump. This is more than 2 times the price of these. But I just wanted to mention, in case you were wondering. But the treble on these are excellent. I really can't complain at this price bracket. Comfort-wise, I forgot to mention comfort at the beginning. I might move this to the front. They're the same comfort as the 200. If you want to hear more about, I guess I'll just say it now. They're comfortable. They're a little bit of a shallow fit overall, but they're a very comfortable set of IEMs. I had no problem with comfort at all. So that's pretty much it. Very comfortable. Yeah. So that's pretty much about it. I mean, overall, can I recommend this set? Absolutely. I actually recommend this set over the 500LM because it does almost everything better. Maybe the bass has a little bit more impact, a little bit better impact on the LM, but the rest, the mid-range is smoother, not as pronounced as on the 500LM, but it is better quality in my opinion on here. It's smoother, more natural sounding. Stage is wider on these. Imaging is better on these. Overall, I preferred my listening experience on the EW300. So can I recommend these? Absolutely. These are probably my new recommendation for a under $100 set. Yep, that's about it. See ya.